is discovering you're not alone when the building is supposed to be empty. My name is Ryan. Until 3 months ago, I worked as an IT technician in a 12-story office building. Everyone warned me never to stay past midnight. I thought they were joking. I was wrong. It was a rainy Tuesday night. Most employees had gone home hours earlier. Only the cleaning crew remained, and even they left before 11. By midnight, I was the only person still inside. I shut down my computer, packed my backpack, and walked toward the elevators. The hallway was completely silent. Even the air conditioning had stopped running. I pressed the elevator button. After a few seconds, the door slid open. Inside, the lights flickered once before becoming steady again. I stepped in and pressed the button for the lobby. The doors closed. Instead of moving down, the elevator began climbing. I frowned. My office was on the 8th floor. There was nowhere higher to go except the 12th floor. The digital display counted upward. 9, 10, 11, 12. Then it changed again. 13. My stomach tightened. This building didn't have a 13th floor. Every tenant knew that. The architect had skipped the number entirely. Yet the elevator continued rising. The motor groaned as though it was climbing far beyond the roof. With a loud ding, the doors opened. Beyond them stretched a dark office hallway. The lights were dim and yellow. Old wallpaper peeled from the walls. Dust covered the floor. It looked abandoned for decades. I remained frozen inside the elevator. Then I heard a phone ringing somewhere in the darkness. The phone kept ringing. Once. Twice. 3 times. Against my better judgment, I stepped out of the elevator. The air felt icy cold. Every office door along the hallway stood slightly open. Dust floated through the air, glowing beneath the weak ceiling lights. Behind one door, I heard quiet typing on a keyboard. Someone was working. But this floor wasn't supposed to exist. I slowly walked toward the sound. The office was filled with old computers from another era. Green text flickered across dusty monitors. At one desk sat a man wearing an old business suit. His back faced me. His fingers moved across the keyboard without stopping. I cleared my throat. Hello? The typing stopped instantly. The room became completely silent. The man slowly stood up. Every movement seemed unnatural, almost mechanical. Without turning around, he quietly asked, "What year is it?" His voice sounded weak, as if he hadn't spoken in years. 2026, I answered. The office fell silent again. Then he whispered, "No, that's impossible." My heartbeat echoed through the empty room. Very slowly, the man turned toward me. His face was pale. His eyes were completely black. He smiled, but his lips never moved. Then every computer screen switched on at once. Hundreds of names appeared across the monitors. Some were marked missing. Others displayed only one word, returned. My own name suddenly appeared at the bottom of one screen. Before I could react, every office light went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Somewhere behind me, the elevator bell echoed through the hallway. Ding. The doors had opened again. Then I heard slow footsteps, not mine. Someone, or something, was walking toward me through the darkness. 1 step. 2. 3. And then a whisper beside my ear, "You're not supposed to be here." I ran toward the elevator as fast as I could. The hallway seemed much longer than before. Every office door slammed shut behind me, one after another. Bang. 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 The sound echoed through the empty floor. I finally reached the elevator, but the doors remained open. Inside, the lights flickered violently. It was waiting for me. The moment I stepped inside, the doors closed on their own. My hand shot toward the lobby button, but it wouldn't light up. Every button had gone dark, except one. Floor 13 glowed bright red. Then another button slowly lit up by itself. Stop. The elevator jerked violently and came to a complete halt between floors. The lights went out for 3 long seconds. When they returned, I wasn't alone. Standing in the far corner of the elevator was an elderly woman wearing an old gray office uniform. Her head was lowered. Her hands were folded in front of her. I never heard the doors open. I never saw her step inside. I pressed myself against the opposite wall. "Excuse me," I whispered. She didn't move. Then she quietly spoke without lifting her head. "Don't let them know you're alive." A cold chill spread through my body. Before I could ask what she meant, she slowly raised one trembling finger and pointed toward the ceiling. Something scratched across the roof of the elevator. Long, slow, scraping sounds moved from one side to the other. Whatever was above us sounded heavy. Dust drifted down through the ceiling vent. Then the scratching stopped directly over my head. Complete silence followed. I could barely breathe. A loud metallic bang shook the elevator. The lights flickered again. This time, the emergency ceiling hatch slowly opened by itself. Darkness filled the opening. Then long, pale fingers curled around the edge of the hatch. They were far too long to belong to any human being. The elderly woman suddenly grabbed my wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "Close your eyes," she whispered. "Whatever happens, don't look up." I squeezed my eyes shut. Above me, I heard something crawling across the ceiling. Slow breathing echoed inside the elevator. It sounded only inches away. Then came a voice. Soft. Calm. Familiar. "Ryan." It whispered. It sounded exactly like my younger sister. "Please help me." Every instinct told me to open my eyes. Tears filled them. But I remembered the woman's warning. I stayed perfectly still while the voice kept calling my name. Several seconds later, the breathing stopped. The elevator suddenly dropped a few feet before continuing downward. A cheerful chime echoed through the cabin. The lights became normal again. First floor appeared on the display. I slowly opened my eyes. The elderly woman was gone. The ceiling hatch was closed. The doors opened into the bright lobby. Everything looked completely normal. The security guard behind the front desk smiled and asked, "Working late again?" I nodded without speaking. As I walked toward the exit, he called after me. "By the way." I turned around. "Who were you talking to in the elevator?" My blood ran cold. I had been alone, hadn't I? I stopped walking. "What do you mean?" I asked. The security guard looked confused. "The camera showed you standing in the elevator, talking to someone for almost 10 minutes. My heart skipped a beat. There wasn't anyone with me. He slowly turned the monitor toward me. Then, "Who is she?" The security footage showed me standing alone at first. Then the image glitched. A second figure slowly appeared beside me. An elderly woman in a gray office uniform. She stood exactly where I remembered seeing her. The strange part was, I never turned toward her. But she never stopped looking directly at me. The guard rewound the video. We watched it again. This time something else appeared. Just before the elevator reached the lobby, a pale hand slowly reached through the ceiling hatch. It stopped inches above my head. Neither of us had noticed it the first time. The guard immediately paused the recording. Without saying a word, he opened another security camera. It showed the elevator from outside. My stomach tightened. When the doors opened, I stepped out alone. But before they closed, a tall dark figure was standing inside the elevator behind me. The doors shut before I could see its face. Without saying a word, he opened another security camera. It showed the elevator from outside. My stomach tightened. When the doors opened, I stepped out alone. But before they closed, a tall dark figure was standing inside the elevator behind me. The doors shut before I could see its face. The next morning I searched the building's history. Years earlier, before the tower was renovated, there had actually been a 13th floor. It belonged to a technology company. Then, during a late-night fire, dozens of employees became trapped. Official records listed every victim, except one. The night manager was never found. His employee photo made my blood freeze. It was the same man I had seen typing in the abandoned office. Same suit. Same face. Same empty black eyes. According to the article, he disappeared in 1994. The report ended with one chilling sentence: his body was never recovered. I quit my job that afternoon. I never entered the building again. Months passed, and life slowly returned to normal. Then one rainy evening, I entered the elevator in my new office building. There were only 10 floors. As the doors closed, I noticed something that made my heart stop. A new button slowly lit up beneath floor 10. It wasn't there before. The number 13 glowed bright red. No one else seemed to notice. The elevator began moving upward on its own. Then the speaker crackled. A familiar voice quietly whispered, "Welcome back, Ryan." I stepped out before the doors could close. Since that night, I never use elevators after midnight. Stairs may be slower, but at least they don't stop on floors that shouldn't exist. And if you ever see a button marked 13 appear where it wasn't before, don't press it. Because some floors were never built for the living. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more true horror stories every week. And remember, not every elevator takes you where you want to go. If this story kept you awake, don't forget to subscribe for more true horror stories every week. Leave a like if you enjoyed tonight's story. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Until next time, sleep well, if you can.